There's currently a thunderstorm ongoing outside. I'm currently not researching anything in Stronghold Kingdoms. I closed the game down because there was some kind of bug in which the research went overdue and just stayed stuck at 0 seconds. Research overdue. Please wait. Today, that took me to what was initially going to be Salvatore's, but we ended up going to a completely new place called Brody's on the Bay, so that Dad could watch the first football game involving the Minnesota Vikings, his favorite team, for this season. Yeah, I had a choice between Dad making chicken or pizza tonight. And I chose chicken because that's healthier. And once that, Brody's on the Bay. Once we were seated at the bar area, initially there was a sort of plan, or at least thought, of me getting the buffalo mac and cheese special. But then I saw some of the other menu items they had, and then sort of felt conflicted between primarily either getting a house salad. It's raining really hard.
Yes. Downpour.
Oh, why is it raining so hard?
I don't know.
Could it have something to do with the weather cooling down? Excuse me. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, the new culture buildings I recently unlocked the research for. Okay. Both before and after our football game trip to Brody's on the Bay, I watched, I more listened to YouTube videos while working on the 99th Dan Hamming episode. Before going to Brody's, I created a custom Comedy World character a Caucasian male with what's intended to be brown hair, but may unintentionally be red. I'm just not quite sure. Because I gave him brown/red hair, I couldn't use a red screen and instead had to use a green screen. Because I could better remove that color so that there's no background in the way. And then I also added in a pen prop from Vion Studio by taking a snipping tool picture and then putting that picture and removing the red background so that I could have more control of the motion of the pen. I initially thought this was a spoon. And I thought about how it would be a bit odd to eat chicken with a spoon. After the Brody's trip, which started at around 11:30 p.m. and ended at around 8 p.m. Well, 11:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. And near the end, Bill gave me and Dad 3 packs of beer nuts and a loaf of cinnamon swirl bread that he kept in the freezer area of his refrigerator. And they were pretty nice gifts. And during the Brody's on the Bay adventure, me, Dad, his friend Bill, we all had some fun, some goofing around, saying funny things. I drained my phone to just 7% from making footage of Brody's on the Bay since it was a new place. The game Dad was interested was a game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cincinnati Bengals, which ended up being a pretty hard-fought battle. The Vikings got a touchdown early on, but then a touchdown and an extra point. Since a touchdown is worth 6 points, not 7 points, the 7th point comes from the extra point, doing the equivalent of a field goal kick. Then Cincinnati did that 3 times in a row, then got a field goal. But then the Vikings had a comeback and managed to tie the game. But then after some intense battling during overtime, the Vikings lost 24-27 because the Bengals managed to make a field goal I think with roughly a minute to 3 minutes to spare, but I think I'm more confident in the 1 minute to spare thing. Yeah, roughly a minute to spare, or maybe 30 seconds, at the most a minute to spare within overtime. If that period ran its course, it would have been a tied game then, or a draw. After the Brody's on the Bay trip, it was primarily a matter of me deciding to through the Simon voice, because some select few voices come with special sound clips if you type in a /_ and then followed by certain action words such as cry, cough, laugh. And Simon was the only male voice that had a crying sound, special sound, that lasted more than a second, so I ended up inserting that voice clip. To the custom character I created. There was some kind of glitch where initially the custom character would not appear, and I would have to load up the preview video again, and after clicking to the first scene, used as a sort of buffer to give time for that bottom bar in the preview window to go away. I don't think I even have the technical expertise to deal with removing that. And in some cases, it would, even if I had the expertise to remove it without serious difficulty, sometimes it would interfere with the animation of trying to isolate. A beautiful barracks. Uh, then it was a matter of, and still is to an extent, trying to determine what to have, I believe, the father of the Uber driver say. I ultimately settled on, at least for now, does anyone have the time? Because I think for visiting, you have to patients or loved ones at a hospital. I think you're supposed to write down the time you enter and the time you exit, along with your name. That's what I'm most sure of. As for the rest, I'm not really sure. Here's where I'm at currently in regards to relics. I got 3 from collecting here within the Pilgrim's Manor. And in fact, that's how I was able to complete this task, part of the task set. Right now, the primary concerning the Uber driver father is deciding ultimately which voice to use. If I haven't done that already, I think I may ultimately go with the Mike voice. It's a possibility. I'm looking for something deep sounding. That isn't overly robotic or British, because the Starfall prop character in question is not from Great Britain. Or actually, I think if a text-to-speech voice is British, that means it's meant to read British English, and if it has an American flag, it's meant to read American English. I think that's what that might mean, since some English words are a little different depending on whether it's British English or American English. And now that I think about it some more, I already know that other players have donated some research points into this ancient wonder. I think not long after I acquired that ancient wonder, I have hearted it, favorited it. It's a good way to get gold coins, which I apparently need more of these days. I could have plopped down a whole new residence, but I instead chose to upgrade the barracks, although I could maybe move this workshop to here, and then maybe somehow move this residence somewhere. Perhaps. Or maybe not. Oh, we'll have to see. I'm sure I'll figure out some way to recover my population. In the meantime, I've got supplies burning a hole in my pocket and my wallet, figuratively speaking, within this game. Also, there was a point, not too long ago, in which I was considering giving the Uber driver an infant son and then an unborn son, but the infant son didn't work because I don't think the Styrofoam prop character intended to be either his girlfriend or his wife had clothes that would properly convey what I now know to be a baby sling. And then the unborn child I think asking, does anyone know if I have to include the unborn name, or have you decided what your unborn child's name is? Some variation of either of those two. It would have been too long for the few seconds I have after the pen animation stops, which I know that just having it go in a straight line doesn't look realistic, so now I would at random have it frame by frame go up and down to try to make it mimic more actually writing with a pen, though I'll need a clarification on whether or not I've actually managed to achieve that effect. But before asking Dad to take a quick look, I've decided to make that scene more complete with my current vision for it. Dad made a root beer float with vanilla ice cream again. It tastes pretty good. It's currently 9:49 p.m. And I think it was at most roughly half an hour earlier when the chicken and corn arrived. For the Uber driver's father, I ultimately settled on the Nathan text-to-speech voice. Most of the text-to-speech voices work on the new 1.3.0 version of Rapper Offline. But if you hit one of the few that don't, you'll not only will you have to close the video list, but you'll have to close wrapper offline itself, which involves a command prompt screen, which is very close to something you might see on a 1980s computer. But it's a process that only takes a few minutes to 5 minutes at the worst. So it's not a huge annoyance.